There was a country. This was one of the numerous books written by Chinua Achebe, who was reckoned to be a great author of Nigerian origin. Truthfully speaking, was there a country, or is there a country? Monkeys and baboons will be soaked in their own blood. These were the words of late Muhammadu Buhari. Eventually he was elected in 2015, having made that statement earlier, and he stayed in power for 8 years, 2015 to 2023. He left Nigeria worse off, even in the aspect of insecurity. He retired general. Today, we are already seeing some people presenting themselves as political messiah. Is there actually anyone who is a political messiah in Nigeria? I've been offline for some days and I asked someone that what is happening in Nigeria? And he responded by saying, as usual, killings and politics are the activities happening in Nigeria. The rest is darkness. And darkness is never a subject of history. So does that mean that everything that revolves around Nigeria is all about killings and politics on how to grab political power comes 2027? Of course. If the rest is darkness, and darkness is never a subject of history, it means Nigeria is not progressing in any form. The last time we had an issue-based campaign in Nigeria was in 2011. Since then, after that, since 2015, it has been issue of insecurity, blood, killings. And I have always said, when insecurity is weaponized, when insecurity becomes a political tool, a political campaign, it is always disastrous, especially for the masses. The poor, average Nigerian pays the price of insecurity, and in most cases, he pays with his or her life. The insecurity in Nigeria, I've always said it is artificially created by political and religious elite. It is politically created. Because today in Nigeria, the struggle for political power usually comes with heavy spending, with much economic resources. Therefore, the political elite, the religious elite, even the traditional elite need money to acquire political power. Either by purchasing it or by acquiring it through popular support of the citizens. And we can see when these political elites, the religious elite, the traditional elite are involved, because they benefit a lot from it, it will be difficult to tackle it. Because those that are supposed to tackle it are the ones benefiting from it. For example, the insecurity in Zamfara State, from what we have reliably gathered, it was created by one of the former governors while he was in office. He saw an opportunity to acquire more wealth, more power to himself, more economic and political power to himself. He brought in some foreign machineries, armed them, fully armed. Then brought in people to start mining the gold in Zamfara, illegal mining, which today we cannot deny in Nigeria, illegal mining. Those he armed to be protecting the miners, the illegal miners, those he armed later saw the opportunity to hijack the whole process. Who hates money? Who doesn't like money? So they too, they saw it as an opportunity to hijack the whole process and start making this money for themselves instead of protecting the interests of a politician. Then, because they are the one with the power of the gun, power, raw, naked, they hijacked the whole process. After that, a governor came in, I'm talking of Zamfara State, who said, we can't leave this, like that. He brought in more sophisticated weapons and, raised another army, machineries, to counter the existing machineries on ground, who have now hijacked the whole process. Then, the cycle of violence began. Only God knows when it's going to end. Kogi State is another case study where illegal mining has also brought insecurity upon them. For those of you that are familiar with Kogi State, talking of Kogi West, they have resources also there, and it is the illegal mining that is bringing insecurity. And this was also brought upon them by a former governor while he was in power. He brought in foreign machineries to come and start mining in some places called Yagba, Isolu, Kababunun, Egbe, and what have you. So you can now see that the insecurity in Nigeria is artificially created. Abacha once said that for terrorism to last 24 hours in Nigeria, it means the government is involved. And of a truth, the Nigerian government is fully involved in the insecurity in Nigeria, and Nigerian government is an active participant in the insecurity. Of course, we might have so many factions that are not loyal or that the government is not, controlling, but many of it is being controlled by the government, in power. I might not necessarily be referring to this government in power. And unfortunately, they are partnering with foreign nationals, stealing our resources dry. Otherwise, the resources God has given to us in Nigeria, no average Nigerian should have business with poverty. But foreign nationals in collusion with government officials are stealing Nigeria blind. Try. I've been to many states in Nigeria, so many. For example, if you go to Nasarawa, you will see how these guys are taking our rare earth and importing it, and nobody is questioning them. Of course, of recent, government banned shea butter, importation, the nuts and what have you. But it did. If you go, they are still smuggling it out. Not only the shea butter, the sawdust from that tree. In fact, there is a company in Kaduna along Airport Road that use part of this